Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us for episode 142 of Tattoo Collecting 101, right here on Guy Atchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Network, the community for tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and all those curious about the world of tattooing. We encourage everyone to join these live streams and real-world events as we aim to educate and inspire one another to create better artwork, tattoos, and to leave the community a better place than how we found it. We stream out most days of the week, so be sure to check out the full schedule of events, as well as our professional development courses from over 20 world-class tattooers at reinventingthetattoo.com. You can also find all these shows on our Roku channel, as well as your favorite podcast platforms. So search for Reinventing the Tattoo and you'll find us on there. Real quick, just want to say thank you to the sponsors who make the network possible. Thank you to World Tattoo Events, which has the largest, most comprehensive list of tattoo conventions going on in the world right now. Tattoo Now, technology for tattooers. They're the leading edge in professional development, management, and digital tools for tattooers of all levels, as well as our affiliates at the Fireside Tattoo Network and the Apprenticeship Diaries. And lastly, we want to thank Guy Atchison, who's the founder and inspiration behind the Reinventing the Tattoo community and is the reason this is all possible. You can go to guyatchison.com to get your copy of the Biomech Encyclopedia, instructional DVDs, original oil paintings, and custom coil machines. And if you're enjoying the knowledge we're sharing out, be sure to share it with a friend and watch another video. On to Fawn and Ben.
Well, thanks, Kyle.
You're welcome.
Nice. Getting better and better. A little bit more professional every time.
Trying,
Almost got it down pat.
almost.
One of these days. One of these days.
Guys, we have Ben back. Ben has rejoined the show.
I missed you fuckers.
Well, you know, we got to do grown-up things sometimes.
Every now and then life requires grown-up decisions.
Do you want to talk about life?
We can be vague about it, yeah. So I started a new job that requires a lot of my time. They like to do things like 12 and 14-hour shifts and stuff like that. So there was a whole lot of 1, 2, 3 go starting there. And yeah, it's been a blast. I think I've put in no less than 10 hours of overtime every week for the past 3 weeks. So it's been a lot of fun.
Still writing notes.
I saw that. I wanted to clear your head. I felt like I was bothering you from taking your
No, I
notes.
just had to write one more note so that
I
we
didn't
don't
wanna-
get like baked and forgetful.
That's fair. We do tend to get baked
We do.
and forgetful. That actually, somebody asked me the other day, they're like, so you're on a podcast? And I was like, kind of.
Pot.
It's a
Podcast.
podcast. You're like, oh, but, yeah, we cast the pot too. So made me chuckle.
Made you chuckle. It is kind of a podcast.
I mean,
You know,
it's not part of the show.
it's not that the show's about it, but like it does definitely keep us a little bit more open and like
It's like a visiting character.
yeah,
You know, like it's not about it, but like he there all the time.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
enhancing the conversation, if you will.
That's fair. 100% fair.
Well, you should prepare one of these things for us as we're talking.
Sure.
So what do we have we had a month without you or 3 weeks?
I think it's been 3 weeks. Because I mean I started 3 weeks ago, so that makes sense.
Fortunately, Maddie picked up your slack.
Yeah, it's nice to have people that can slack pick. It's not like Maddie ever has a lack of things to talk about.
I love talking with Maddie.
That wasn't shit
sometimes
talk.
we'll just be like sitting taking a break together and it's always like, "Oof, opportunity missed. If only I would have been recording that whole conversation. That would
Right.
have been told like things that you actually like want to sit and listen to.
You saying you don't want to sit and listen to our conversations, fun?
Well,
It's kind of rude.
I mean, I do listen to them actually. I don't know. I'll put them on. I do chores and stuff around the house. I like proof listen in case there's like any hiccups or anything like that.
Yeah, I have a hard
Not
time
listening.
listening to my voice.
You just kind of got to get over that.
I have to act like it's not me.
I feel like it's weird
It's
for other people if I have the TV on and then I actually speak in person because then it's weird.
Right.
I think that's kind of funny if like my family or anybody comes over while I've got like an episode on my TV. Because usually I've
You.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, usually I've got it like turned, like I'm not sitting on the couch like watching it.
Right.
I'm like just listening and I don't know. I guess that's kind of how I imagine other people would be like ingesting our content is not necessarily like watching every single move we make, but like listening and like when it's worthwhile to look up at the screen because we're like screen sharing
Right,
one set
right.
off. I, glance up.
What's-
It's like true crime. You don't actually have to watch it. You gotta listen to it
Well,
mostly.
the first what 2-3 episodes were audio only, right?
Yeah, I think like, I mean, we did have video, but it was Jordan like playing around in VR world.
Right,
It
right.
was just us talking over it. I didn't hate doing it that way. I just thought it was gonna be so far over my head to like learn video and audio at the same time. So I figured we should get audio
There's just
down.
another line to plug in. There's not much more to it.
Yeah, that sounds simple enough in theory,
In theory.
in theory,
In theory.
but
Yeah, there's a lot of production that goes on at the new job, and it's kind of funny because they're like, "Have you ever done this?" And I'm like, "As a matter of fact, that's what I do for fun." But good times.
one of our cameras froze up as we were talking about technology, unplug and plug back in the first camera port.
We're live. We're fine. It's running.
There we go.
Um,
Sometimes when we freeze up, I just literally unplug and then
Yeah.
replug it in and it reboots our little YOLO switcher box.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
It's okay. It just happened. It was like momentary. It's okay.
I think there's a small opportunity for us to lease the equipment that we own to the company that I work for now too, as well, on a small time basis. So things like the stage and sound equipment and things along those lines get used heavily there that they are outsourcing another company for.
Why?
Well, I was like, would you want to outsource the company I work with and for? And they went, sure.
Tell us more.
So I might have said too much too fast, but yeah. As soon as I can talk to the people here that make more money than I do.
So you're saying a real opportunity for us to MC events is coming up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
Well
big
done.
ones.
Nice.
We have a band coming to play one of our venues. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say, but if they were in airplanes, there'd be more than 19 of them.
More than 19 airplanes.
No, there'd be more than 19 people in the airplanes.
The band?
Well, there is a band coming, yes.
I'm so lost.
Exactly. Vagueness. And it's like we're prepping for like 4,000 people at one of our venues, and it's like, ugh. So yeah, I'm in operations now. So I don't actually I just coordinate a bunch of stuff. And it's kind of fun. Kind of fun.
Kind of like being the orchestra conductor. You don't have to
Yeah,
worry about
for like a room full of cats. Yeah, that's
Wow. All right.
But the company's like national, and they've got parks all over the United States, and there's travel opportunity to go to other venues and things along those lines.
Caddies don't matter.
Chatties don't matter. I made sure before I went in for my interview. They own several properties here locally that
Were you like, just so you know, I have a couple visible tattoos.
just a few.
What's your tattoo policy?
I read their tattoo policy before I went in, and it said as long as they're not offensive, you can leave them uncovered. So essentially, if it's an offensive tattoo, they don't care. You just got to cover it up.
Nice.
I don't have anything offensive, or I don't think.
I mean, sometimes so some people just having tattoos is offensive, but
Well,
that's what we're working on changing.
That's because people sometimes have misconceptions. And that's okay too.
I know that was already pre-sticked, but there was an end that didn't have any stickum on it.
That happens. That happens. You gotta moisten the moistener, you know. But yeah, they have access to a ton of venues around town. They have access to a ton of venues around the United States.
Mhm.
When the slow season of where I am located at happens.
Are you just gonna make it a game of being as vague as possible about the venue in which?
Well,
'Cause I
To
think
be
it's pretty
fair,
cool.
I think it is very cool, and I agree with that, but I don't want backlash from name recognition from our habits on the show to interfere with my professionalism on the job.
Name recognition.
You know, that yeah, some local people would probably recognize the name of the place I work.
I think you're probably right.
And you know, let's just not make waves kind of thing.
I hear you.
Same reason I didn't talk about my last job.
I hear you.
I kept
hear
it
you.
Veggie McVagerson.
No,
But yeah, it should be fun.
Ben, I
Should-
don't have a lighter.
What?
I know. Kyle, help a sister out.
I have a nickel. Oh, it's a quarter. I like. So how's Fawn been?
Good. Busy working away. I've been doing some cool wigwag stuff that you've missed out on.
I
Well,
caught
you've seen it
wigwag
in
talk.
Interwebs.
I caught wigwag talk. Last time we were here, we talked about wigwags.
I'm doing more.
Whoa,
Yeah, I know.
just lining the wags up.
I love it. Do.
I always think it's
Yeah.
really cool to see the next inspiration in anybody's art life journey, however you want to say that.
I've had these ideas for years, but like all of a sudden, like people are coming out of the woodwork that are like, yeah, that's dope. And I'm like, "Psh, here we go. And the thing is, like 8 or 10 years ago, when I started having ideas to tattoo stuff like this,
You just had to wait for
don't-
everybody else to catch up as cool as you are. That's all.
I honestly, yes, that, but I also think that like my skill to catch up, to do it quickly and efficiently, like not only to be like, I can pull that off, but to be able to pull it off confidently and, you know, where like each and every mark makes a difference on the tattoo. Like every time my needle touches the skin, there's a dramatic difference and a worthwhile change that has happened where, I don't know, earlier in my career, when I would experiment with new things, I didn't have like all the layers and processes down, like the order of operations. Like,
That's fair.
you know, there can be 15 ways to skin a cat, but there is the fastest way.
That's fair.
I mean, I can't tell you which is the fastest, but
Hot water. Yeah, you boil it first and it loosens the membrane between the fatty layers.
see,
of the-
orders of operation.
Mhm. Oh, and then once you do that, the trick is to start in the stomach and work your way up instead of the back, because then you're immediately removing the vital organs. Sorry, but yeah, there's a right way.
Oh, well, I've never skinned a cat.
Me either. I'm just in general for things that are alive.
I have
That's how it works.
skinned a deer. I have skinned
Same.
fish. Catfish.
Scaled? No, you skin a catfish. you're
Yeah.
right.
Oh, still tilted. Thanks, Kyle. But yeah, never skinned a cat.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I skin cat pelts aren't in real high demand. Peta'd probably
It's pretty cool
Be
though,
mad
like
at ya.
the wigwag stuff that I'm playing with. Maybe I should pull some pictures up. I sent some last week that we can talk about again later on. But like, if you think about like Cassidy Bell's work, and he's building these cool like geometric and kind of like psychedelic looking craziness, but it's so precisely done that like it's one of those things where I've always wanted to do work like that. And now that I'm able to combine like the glass art designs that wigwags are, I can use those same tricks and I can execute it the same way, but instead of having these like computer generated images, which are awesome, I'm starting out with something like organic that was handmade. Kyle's jamming over there. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh, you're pulling up Cassidy Bell stuff? My wigwags? Okay. Well, they're in the tattoo collecting inbox. You found them. They might be up a little bit. But yeah, it's really cool. It's the same tricks. And then to be able to like have the trust to combine these kind of designs with like, this is gonna turn into a desert landscape with a pink and purple sky.
Fuck.
Yeah, so the wigwags are actually reflecting the sky, and then we'll pull some of the oranges from the sand down into that band that's open. So this one's gonna be pretty special because I showed her some tricks of, there is a painter, and I think his name's like Micah Odell or something like that. But anyways, he does some pretty trippy things with his oil paintings. And I was like, I want to do the same trick, but with this wigwag shape and morph the landscape and this together with his tricks. And she was down.
She was
So-
like, I feel that.
So and this is one of Maddie's clients. So I already know that she sits well. I already knew going into this idea that she was very open-minded. I got to get an ashtray too. We're batting 1,000. I'm so excited to have my buddy back.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw your whole process off.
But yeah, by the time we're done with this will look like super crisp, super clean. Like there's still some sketchy little lines in there, but when it's all said and done, it'll be super crisp and then go into a real bright sunset landscape with a purple sky. So it's gonna be pretty gnarly.
Baller.
Yeah.
Super
But, like,
baller.
And this is our buddy Joe, kind of the same thing. This is morphing into
Senor
our Alex
Benitez.
Gray inspired sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
He's got all the little baby eyeballs on the side.
yeah, I have had ideas to play with these kind of shapes and stuff for years, but like couldn't really talk anybody into it because they didn't understand the glass art. But I've got so
Right.
many clients that are open smokers, open glass collectors. So when I say like, have you seen this? And I show them like some marble, different things that other glass blowers have been playing
Right.
around with. They're like, you can tattoo that. And I'm like, Psh,
Shit, son.
yes, please.
Excited
up.
too.
So it's pretty cool because like, I don't know, a lot of times as tattooers, we have a tendency to like look at what other tattooers are doing. Or like those of us that are a little bit more open-minded might be looking at what other painters or other graphic artists are doing or what
Right.
animators are doing or what illustrators are doing. But I love like the science part of me loves looking at glass art because it's like capturing alchemy and chemistry and
Yeah,
freezing.
chemical reaction and process.
Yeah, it can be. And then sometimes it's just like, you know, the way that they have to work with the glass, there are like principles of physics at play. You know, you can't really force glass to do something. It's like pushing taffy around and
Right.
expecting it to do what you want. So you got to like work with the properties of the glass itself. And to have that patience and that like the way to work around those limitations that glass
Right.
blowers have, I just love it. I love the chemistry of it. I love the like when you're done with a glass sculpture, whether it's a marble, a rig, a pipe, a paperweight, whatever, you've now got this thing that you can hold in your hand, and that thing is made out of silica, which is what
Right.
sand, you know, it's just pretty magic and awesome. But I love it. And I love that clients are down to let me play with these shapes on them.
There is a glass blowing class that you can take right up in like near Hocking Hills. I highly contemplated going and doing it. I figured it'd be a good time.
There's a school here in Columbus called Glass Access. It's down in Franklinton.
Okay.
My buddy Clayton, I talk about all the time, donated a rather large air compressor to them. So contributing, he's not a glass artist, but definitely contributing to like the furtherment of,
Love it.
Yeah.
You want to see cool art? Participate.
yeah. You been doing any tatty blasts?
No.
Laid off the practice snails?
I got frustrated with the transfer process. So I wasn't having consistent stencils.
Okay,
So
yeah, I've
not,
been ashing this bad boy.
I had been too, and I kind of forgot. So not that knowing how to hand trace stencils isn't important and doing muscle memory isn't important, but that was not what I wanted to focus on. That and the new job's insane hours.
Yeah,
Because it's events. So you're there for 10, 12, 14 hours sometimes. There's not a lot. My free time is now dedicated to laundry and keeping the house up. And so not that I'm done with it. My machine's still out on the desk and you know, like everything's, I've been using the ballpoint pens a lot more than setting up cartridges and ink just to keep muscle memory down and just to keep the flow, like hand motions and all that. But to say I've been practicing would be a stretch.
well.
It's still
tinkering.
fun.
You've just been tinkering every now
Well,
and then.
the whole point was to tinker.
Yeah. We're gonna get you snail tatty blasting.
Yep, it'll happen.
It's so, I feel like we spend so much time talking about your snail tattoos, and mind you, I've thought forever that snail might just be my spirit animal. It's a whole nother story. But anyways, we talk about them so much. I see so many snail nature posts.
I know,
on my
I know.
phone all the
Me
time.
too. If people tag me in anything that has a snail on it, and I love it. So recently, Leah's kid purchased a bottle of snail slime as a facial remedy. That it does not look PC. Let's
Tell
say
me more,
that.
Ben.
It's a bottle of clear viscous fluid.
Is it really snail slime?
So the bottle reads, and it feels like snail slime.
Feel like snot?
It's gross. It's gross. But yeah, I was like, why is this a thing? Why is
It's
this
really like something to put on the face. What's it supposed to do?
the same thing all face stuff is supposed to do? Make you look 12. Rejuvenate,
I don't know.
you know, snail stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was gross, but yeah, I probably brought that to their life. Made me chuckle.
Well, I
But-
don't know. I don't think I'd put snail slime on my face.
Yeah,
I mean, I definitely, you've been hiking with me. I can't not pick things up and like, for some reason, I'll look over and I'll be like, oh, look who came to see me. And I'll pick up a tiny little snail and like chill with it for a while,
send it back into nature.
Yeah, it's like I've had small doses of snail slime on me and it's like
It's pretty gross.
boogers. It's like boogers.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I did today, however, though, walk out to my aloe plant that's got one tine of it that's like starting to crisp up on one end, and pop the end open of it and put some aloe on my hands and on my neck and
Aw,
used my greeneries.
my aloe's going crazy. I thought I almost killed it, but
Yeah, dude, my dude's huge. Like
I-
I've had to repot it twice now.
last fall, I left it out a little too long and he got frosted and most of his little blades of aloe goodness died,
Poor
fell
little guy.
off.
Poor little guy.
But I didn't give up on him. I didn't give up. I took him in my bathroom. I put him under my random lights that I've got all over my shelves. And he came back and now he's like 2 aloe plants, like he branched off. So now he's 2 and he's healthier than before that even ever.
Sometimes it takes getting broken down to your
Like-
core to grow.
Like maybe I made him a little bit more hardy.
Sometimes it takes getting broken down to your core to grow. Just saying.
Well, I don't want to break my plants down to their core to make them grow. I want them to just grow.
I
Take
just
care
meant
of
in
them.
general, I
But I
guess
just come out. You got your fault.
struggle breeds growth, you
It's
know?
my fault. It's all my fault.
Oh, it ain't my fault.
Sorry, just making sure that wasn't an important text from like anybody in the interweb saying like our stream is jacked or anything that could happen when we're live.
That's fair.
It could anything. It could be anything.
That's fair.
So, over the past few days, week, you know me, I sit like when I'm unwinding or like when I'm waiting for something or like I'm having my coffee and watching news, I'm just scrolling through Instagram. Like I'm always like my brain is on a few different tracks all at the same time. So I'll be watching Kelly and Mark and then,
Yeah.
yeah, it's Kelly and Mark now.
Okay.
I should just be like, I was watching Kelly. Anyways.
Yeah.
I've been
I miss Regis. I'm just throwing it out there.
oh man, Kelly and Regis was my jam. Those back when I was in college, I loved waking up to that. Like I'd have like there were a couple of days that I had early classes, but most days my first class was like 9:30 or 10. So it was pretty easy to like wake up to them, like
Right.
make sure I had my like painting assignment like presentable enough,
I was at the barber shop today and they had on The Price is Right. And I realized that it's it's a different show now.
Yeah,
And
I've always,
B-
we all grew up on The Price is Right.
Yeah, they fucked it up. I don't know what they did, but it's different and I don't like it. It's very, and now here's your prize.
I've always loved Drew Carey. And here's the thing that kind of tickles me about The Price is Right. Like, we know Drew Carey's actually funny and one of the quicker improv comedians. Do you
Uh-huh.
remember Whose Line Is It Anyways?
I loved that
I
show.
love it because like he comes off as a complete fuddy-duddy, but every now and then he slips some things under the radar where if you catch it, it's like, oh, there's Drew. There he is.
It's almost like he hates his job and he's forced to be there by some bullshit contract. And now you can spin the wheel. Do you want to say thanks to anybody?
I don't wonder if it wasn't because like when he first took over the job, he was too funny and too lively. And like the people that have been watching Price is Right that are in like their 80s are like, it's too peppy.
You're gonna have to
That's
tone
too
it
heavy.
down there, Drew. Tone it down. Bring it
Is
down a
there-
whole notch.
Who is it? Pat Sajak on Wheel of Fortune?
Isn't he dead?
I don't know. I was just thinking, isn't there somebody?
Oh, wait,
new
that
gonna
was
be
Jeopardy
hosting?
dude.
Yes,
Jeopardy dude died.
Alex Trebek.
R.I.B.
Isn't there going to be a new host for Wheel
Jeopardy?
of Fortune?
Or Wheel of Fortune.
Well, Jeopardy, the guy that won like the most ever became the host, Ken Jennings or whatever.
That's
so
fair.
He's the host now, and then the co-host is Mayim Bollick or however you say her name.
Big
think
Big Bang Theory chick.
Yeah, I think they hand the hosting back and forth. So that's kind of cool.
I worked for a gentleman who applied to be on Jeopardy several times. And he scored too high on the test for them to let him on the show. So he took the time to figure out by missing one question every time he applied,
What the threshold was?
what the threshold was. And then by the time he reapplied, he had maxed out his tries.
Oh,
So like
he's
he
like,
was-
I'm getting dumber. I swear.
he was
I
too
know
smart.
the
He was
answers."
too smart for Jeopardy.
I mean, I wonder. These are probably statistics that we could look up, but I wonder what the average IQ of a Jeopardy contestant.
12.
I'm sure it's higher than 12.
Oh, okay.
Like Forrest Gump had higher than 12. Remember?
It's 32. He needs to be a
He needs
third.
5 more points, Mrs. Gump.
We only talking about 5 little points there, sir. Is there something we
There
can
must
do?
be something can be arranged.
Is there a Mr. Gump? He's on vacation.
Mama, what's vacation being with derailed?
Yeah,
We
so-
derailed.
I love Gump. That's what we do.
It's okay.
You probably haven't had a good derailing in a long time.
I'm derailing. You know how Maddie and I get to talking.
That is fair. She's often a bunny trail follower.
She has been, but she's been going in hard in the paint and getting tattooed. So it's pretty easy to like reel it back into
Right.
tattoo talk.
Right. I have a session with her planned or scheduled or paid for, or something along those lines that needs to get done.
Getting a tatty by Maddie.
Yeah, I need to put them on the schedule or I'll never do them. I need to put you on the schedule.
You know, we're coming into the winter season. We're gonna have opportunities.
Yeah, that's when supposedly the place I work at slows down too.
It probably, you know,
We get a little lull between.
I bet it lulls and then that one
Fall's kinda
event
slow.
happens that everybody wants to go to all season.
Motherfuckers, just stay old. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. So finding out when can I get tattooed is still
We'll get there.
in the wings. No,
We'll
I
get
mean,
it.
I just meant just with life.
We'll get there. You and
Yep.
I will get there. Once we start going at it again, we'll go hard in the paint.
I'm afraid if I
I want to get that one. I honestly don't think it's gonna take many more sessions to get the one leg finished.
right.
And once we get there, that'll probably jumpstart motivation on the other leg.
The more time I give Maddie, the more my design changes. I think she's on like the 4th revision at this point.
Well, you know how it is when you and I hang out. Like, Ben and I are pretty close, comfortable friends with one another. So sometimes he'll hang out without a shirt on around me. And then like we'll smoke or whatever, and he'll get comfortable and like stretch out and lounge back. And then there's these nice, meaty little armpit areas. Don't have any tattoos yet. But we've probably come up with 40 different ideas for those areas.
You're all about my pitties. We've been talking about like what we could do for a long time. And I think I've got it narrowed down. Like I'm 99% sure that on the water side, I want to do an octopus, but like backside. So like beak and like open.
Okay, okay.
So here like beaky and then open and
Have
then
those
he's opening
tentacles
up
fill everything.
and
Okay.
then just catching all the blank space with that. And then over here, I want to put a spaceship at the top of the pity and then beam a light down through this open space in my chest, like
See what a nice area that is. Doesn't
And-
have a lot of tatties.
find a floating tractor beam something to fill in the mix there.
One of us. One of us is buzzing. Yeah, it's not even like I'm really like itching to tattoo those areas on you. It's just like I just
Hey,
see them and I
Fawn,
just
it's-
see
it's okay.
ideas.
It's okay.
Well, I'm just
You've
saying,
been talking about tattooing my armpits for
I mean, that's
several years.
pretty big real estate, piece of real estate with the back of both of your legs. Like that's a good little chunk. So like if you have somebody else do your pitties and chest, it won't hurt my feelings. However,
Fawn, we have made plans.
when we get baked together, the ideas just flow and they're
We have-
different every time.
We have made several plans. I'm one of those people like once I dedicate an area to somebody, it's theirs.
Okay, well,
Like we've talked about it. It's going down. It's just got to get through the one we're working on first.
well, you know,
And I'm a one tatty at a time kind of guy most of the time. But legs is a ongoing few year project, whereas opposed to like if I wanted to go get a little blaster, I'd probably sneak that in between. But like normally I only work on one tattoo at a time. I don't want that much open skin. I don't want to take care of two things.
that's fair. We do talk about all the time when you were younger and you were getting tattooed very consistently,
Mhm.
how rough your heels started to be there for a while.
Well, that I'm not 20 anymore. So like,
Nothing to prove now.
well, yeah, that's also true. And
I don't mean that in a bad
No,
way. I
it-
mean, like you and I both, like we've been tattooed in all the painful places. Like,
yeah, there's no mystery left in it.
yeah, I occasionally catch criticism that I got my hand tattooed before I got the rest of my arm. And then I'm like, oh no, like I got 90% of my torso tattooed before I got my arm,
Right, right.
before I got my hand, before. But then, you know, the conversation goes into, I do have ideas that my arms are committed to
Right.
ideas and
They're
when
done.
those,
We just haven't had time to do them yet.
yeah, they will be done. I visualize them
Well,
not there forever.
I started my collection, most people would say backwards. I started on my chest and torso, ribs, and then did my leg.
And then when you got to your arms, it was like a walk in the park.
By the time we did my legs, I was or by the time we did my arms, I was a leg sleeve, 2 rib pieces, and
Did you have that much of your legs done first?
yeah,
When I met you,
did.
you already had
full
a
left
lot of your
leg
big stuff.
before I even touched my arms. And my right leg was the last of my limbs because my guy retired. He did 3 out of my 4 limbs and then he retired. I was like, hey, the fuck. Thought we had something special going here.
And who happens to be tattooing again?
Oh yeah, now he's back at it. It's like,
If you
Fuck.
would have known that he was going to tattoo again, would you have waited?
no. It was 10 years. I mean, like trying to make you a funnel, but I'm doing it poorly.
No, that's what it is. It's where we're at.
No, because I would still only have 3 of my 4 limbs tattooed, and the progression of my friends during that time frame, they've all become amazing artists. So it's like it was meant to be.
I was gonna use this, but I'm afraid the material's just gonna get stuck inside.
Heard.
I don't know. It's pretty rare to have to like start your collection with one artist and then actually like have that artist finish your bodysuit. It's very rare. Derb has one client, his name's Brian. We've had him on the show with his wife Jen. And Jen's always collected tattoos. She's gotten tattooed since they were young. Brian never has. He served got blown up multiple times, like all the things. So there was never like any fear of getting tattooed. You know, his wife, the person he loves the most, is already on her
Right.
way to being heavily tattooed. So when he was ready to get tattooed, he was like, I'm going to get one artist and one just little bodysuit.
Just one everything.
But he's been like watching Jen go through the process for years. So like I think he truly knew what he was getting himself into, but he's like, I think one of those rare unicorns. It's like, yep, I want a bodysuit and I want you to do it.
Well, it
And
has
then
a lot.
actually commit to it.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with coming into tattooing later in his life. When you're younger, you don't have the financial availability, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the network of people in your life to elevate you to find the higher end artists and things along those lines. So, I mean, I think it makes the most sense for people that started collecting later in their life to have one artist.
I have a lot of clients, like I might not have done their first tattoo, but like once I start working on them, they're like, oh yeah, I'm not going anywhere else. I'm like, but you can, like, it doesn't have
Right.
to be like it doesn't have to be just me. But like once we kind of have that relationship and you know how it is, like I don't want to make it sound like I brutalize my clients because I don't. I'm very conscientious and I'm very kind and efficient with the pain when I work on clients.
Mhm.
However, I'm going to push you. Like we're going to get a lot accomplished each
Right.
time we see one another because I want it to be worth your pain and I want it to be worth your day
Well,
off
and
and I
it's
want it to be
easier
worth what I'm charging.
to be uncomfortable with somebody you know and have a long relationship with, and they can tell when you're feeling it. They can tell when you're, you know what I mean? Like there's just this rhythm that you fall into that you're both aware of,
Mhm.
and it balances that out. When you're with a new artist, sometimes that balance isn't necessarily there. So
Yeah, I feel like it's part of the trust that my clients and I build with one another. Like they
Right.
know it's gonna hurt, they know it's gonna suck, they know I'm gonna push them to their threshold. But when
use
they
my
look at the
pain for
mirror
you.
at the end of the day, it's like, oh wow, you got that much done.
right.
And then when they're just like fine the next day, like maybe a little sunburnt feeling,
Right.
you know. And then on top of like the kind of conversations that I have with my clients, because you know, like I don't want to like put myself in the like I'm a tattooer and a therapist role because I'm not. I am like I do my research about psychology, but that is not me whatsoever. I am, however, an empath. And when I've got my hands on somebody and I can tell they're struggling with something or there's just something heavy about them, sometimes there's no way to avoid it. It's just
Yep.
gonna come up.
Yep. You
You
draw it
know.
out of them.
I don't mean to.
Well, and vulnerability releases a lot of things sometimes too. If you're not used to being in that vulnerable state, when it does happen and you're in that like feels kind of situation, a
Mhm.
lot of things pop up from other times you were vulnerable. A lot of times you think of other times you were in pain because it's a sense memory. It's reminding you of what or what has happened, if that makes sense. So like tattoos can be very emotional, can be very, but for completely different reasons.
Mhm. Yep.
Mhm,
It's a pretty
mhm.
crazy thing, but I do feel like sometimes like once certain boundaries are crossed, once somebody like opens up to me, for instance, it could be any artist, but once you like cross that boundary with an artist, it's like, okay, you are now like one of my safe people.
You know all my shit.
Yeah, it's like not that I'm a therapist, not that I necessarily can do anything but be like, so I have another client who went through something similar and this is how they got through it.
This
You
is
know,
what
I
they
can give helpful advice from like what I've seen other people go through, but it's never like real psychology stuff, you know. It's just one of those like I don't take lightly that like I've become in a lot of my clients' inner circles.
Mhm.
Like some of my clients talk to me about things that they don't necessarily talk to their spouses with, which is kind of like, not that it's a bad thing, but it's kind of like it's a sacred thing that somebody trusts me that much.
And that's why it's sickening when all these people in your position take advantage of that power and now are manipulating and now are taking advantage of their clients and blah 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 blah. I saw a tattooer with a sign the other day that was
Why
Why-
are your
why are your
pants
pants off for
wrist
your arm tattoo? Yeah, like, and it really struck one of those like fair point.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, we've all run into like situations where you'll hear like usually it's a girl saying that she got a tattoo in an area that like might not have been that questionable, but to hear her retell the story. He was so nice. He had me take my pants off so he didn't get any ink on any of them because that's apparently customary. And like what I'm looking at, I'm like, I would never have you take your pants off to tattoo your ankle. I wouldn't do that. Oh, you got a butterfly on your hip? I would have had you like roll your pants under and cover that with a dental bib. Like I would have respected your modesty. But when you hear the story told of, oh, he was so professional and he didn't even get weird when I took my pants off. It's like, rewind.
What?
Why were your pants off? Like, was that your idea? Because like, I mean, I do have some clients, like I'll be tattooing them and they'll be like, man, I am hot. It's hot. All I have is these sweat. Would it be weird if I, no, but
Your game.
but like as a tattooer, I hear the red flag, like, no, you didn't have to be that naked in front of the whole studio of
Right,
men that you
right.
don't know. You
Right.
didn't have to do that. Like, I mean, granted, tattooing should be like clinical to an extent, but like a lot of times, I shouldn't say a lot of times, but it is one of those things that I do hear from time to time where it's like, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you. That guy's a pig. Don't go back to him.
So next time you want a butterfly tattoo, how about I introduce you to?
Unless it's Kyle. Kyle has to take his pants off to get any tattoo.
Any tattoo?
You better take your pants off, Kyle.
Okay.
That's the new rule.
life.
That's gonna be real awkward when Jordan works on my ribs next.
Well,
Not for anybody but you.
oh man, do you have anything lined up for your ribs? Anytime soon?
Not yet, since he's
Are you
still,
doing riblets first or are you going back into your leg next?
I have no clue.
Just rolling.
I haven't heard from either.
Well,
One of them's on sabbatical, so
it's fair.
Yeah.
That's all fair.
Wait, weren't both of them on sabbatical?
yeah.
Okay,
Well, one of them's healed up a bit though.
fair.
Yeah. So kind of just whenever I hear word of,
Whenever you hear word.
That's the bird is the word. If you didn't,
I'm almost done
Yeah,
building
yeah.
this thing and then I got some
out away. I knew.
some silliness I want to screen share. Yeah, Kyle watches Family Guy. He knows the classics.
that has nothing
I
to
used
do
to.
with. Yes, the Family Guy did rip off Surfing Bird, but not their step, man. Not their step. Oh,
Let's see here. We have a Wookiee joining us. Kyle, I can't even screen share.
what, Kyle? What the fuck?
Hold on.
To what?
Your seat. Okay. Go
There we
ahead.
go. Now we can screen share.
Jesus, Kyle, it's about time. Look at the screen.
Should I just screen
Isn't it
share the whole
neat?
screen or do you think it looks better when I do screen share a portion of the screen?
You can just do the whole screen. Whatever's easier for you.
Share sound. Gotta click all the buttons, Ben.
Click them, Fawn.
I'm clicking, man.
Get to clicking. Clicking.
Oh, maybe. We got no sound.
Turn it on. It's funny what happens when you turn it on.
Push all the buttons. Sorry, guys, I can't work the
That's the
trackpad
only
today.
thing she said was she got to turn it all on.
You know, you have tattoos that have like a deep personal meaning to the person, and then you have tattoos that don't suck. Those are your two kinds. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm not judging you if you have a tattoo with deep personal meaning, but I am speaking for everyone when I say if your tattoo comes with a paragraph, no thank you, we're good. Right? Sorry about your grandma. You know? I just thought snakes were pretty cool, so I love tattoos, but what comes down to it, I think I love most about them is there's only two kinds. There's two kinds of tattoos. You know, you have tattoos that have like a deep personal meaning to the person, and then you have tattoos that don't suck. Those are your two kinds. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm not judging you if you have a
That's
tattoo
funny.
with deep personal
You know how
meaning.
many times people have said like, "Hey, so what does that mean?" And you're like, "It means I like cool tattoos." What it like?
So my mother, God bless her heart, you've met her.
Ma,
You know
how's
her.
ma?
She's good, but she's got this thing where, and I think I've trained her out of it, maybe,
Trained her.
but she would, like, let's say for some reason we stopped at like a Speedway or a Circle K and we're waiting in line to pay for our bevies and our snacks, what have you. Sometimes there are people in line ahead of us or behind us that have tattoos with deep personal meaning.
Less than savory.
Well, she has this thing where like
Yeah, I'm with it.
she thinks it's helpful to be more honest than she needs to be. Like in situations where like, honesty is important, but like nobody needed your opinion.
But they're a stranger and don't care about your opinion.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
anyways, she has this, not so much now, but the first few years of me tattooing, she had this way of like, oh, my daughter could fix that for you. Mom, you can't say that to people. They might be really proud of their work and
Right.
think it's good.
Right.
And you just insulted it after they like paid money for it, sat through the pain of it,
Mhm.
healed it, and then like got what they got.
It's like buying a new car and somebody being like, "My mechanic knows how to work on this."
Or good luck finding a mechanic for one of those. So anyways, I had to tell my mom, you can't,
Stop.
even if their tattoos are bad, if tattooing comes up in the conversation, like you can you can talk about them, but like it kind of goes back to that awesome little phrase to live by from Bambi.
Can't say something nice. Don't say nothing at all.
So now she no longer tells people that I can
Well,
fix their
it's the same.
tattoos. when
We'll
they're-
be out in the wild and somebody will be like, "Hey bro, sweet tatties, you a tattooer?" I don't immediately be like, "No, she is,"
Thank you for that.
because I can already tell
'Cause
you
the
don't
next
want to have that
question is gonna be-
conversation.
How much would it be to fix this meaningful tattoo?
How much for a sleeve?
I don't know, bro. Like, looks like yours was paid for with an 8 ball. I don't use that economic system. I don't know how to navigate around
Not
it.
even sure the price of a teen anymore. That's funny.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna say I've never traded drugs for tattoos, but there's definitely a better way.
I paid for this sleeve in full, and really with cash. Sometimes I have actually like politely asked that question following, like, yeah, so and so started this for me and I can't get them to finish it, but I paid for it in full. Like, did you pay for it in full, followed by a night of partying in which you became tattooed? And now that that night of partying is over, phone calls aren't being answered? All around the world, same song.
That's not where I was going with it, but all right. That's funny.
Look what I found.
Oh, where was it?
Yeah, and the ingredients were in front of me this whole time. Mixing a little love. What do we have? You're yawning an awful lot.
I'm
man.
sorry. It
Did I
just
give
hit
you
me like a ton of
Do you want
bricks.
it? Do you want one?
You
need
gave me a
another?
caffeinated beverage, but I'm on this kick where like I need to drink water in between my heavily caffeinated beverages.
These only have 5 calories per can.
It's not the calories, it's the color of my urine.
Vitamin A,
Says that I need
niacin.
more than caffeine.
B6,
in my life.
B12.
So
No,
I was trying to drink a thing of water in between each caffeinated beverage today. And I can't get this one down. It's fighting me.
I woke up in the middle of the night last night and I had the thirst about me.
Thirst.
Have you ever been just struck with the thirst at about 4:30 in the morning where you like wake up and you're like half mummified? That's
Mhm.
what last night was.
Well, I came home to my house last night being 88 degrees because my air conditioner decided that today was the day that it was going to quit. No 2-week notice, didn't call HR, just fucking clocked out. I was pissed. So as I was opening up my schmelty room to turn the fan on to, depressurize the. Yeah, I get it. Definitely needed some.
Agua.
Yeah. I woke up about, I don't know, hour after I fell asleep, and everything inside of me was dry because fan
Dried you out.
and outside air. And I woke up like,
Also mummified.
I thought I was dying. I'm not gonna lie.
What did we do yesterday?
Went to a cabin in the woods.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had Maddie's birthday party yesterday.
Yesterday's
So
Maddie's
we weren't
birthday.
the only ones there, but it just so happens that all three of us were there and got to hang out in the woods in a nice little cabin. Got to like very chill, laid back, delightful birthday festivities.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was
Um,
bad.
Lovely cabin.
Yeah, I had a feeling it would be very, very chill.
I don't get down with the ragers much anymore. So anytime somebody says they're having a party, I'm a little leery. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh,
Yeah, that cabin was not set up for like a party, but like a whole bunch of stoners sitting around and like chilling.
works well.
Yeah, I wouldn't have like a rager there, but like just sitting back with our little speaker, listening to tunes and
Yeah, it was a
hanging
good
on the
time.
patio and then hanging on the other patio.
Twas a good time.
Yeah.
I got to do truck stuff because I went up the wrong driveway because Jess gave me wrong directions.
I'm glad we all went up the wrong driveway then.
And got to skirt in the truck a little bit. And
Nice.
that was a good song.
I skirted in the van. You know the one. Van Dago.
Fandango.
See, I did that at my Nissan Versa and I was not having a good time.
Kyle, you were just nervous. You
I
weren't
thought
sure
my
of
car
what it
was gonna
capable
flip,
of.
man.
Yeah, you just got to send it sometimes.
We were driving earlier. I know weather patterns are weird everywhere, but we had like a torrential downpour in the middle of the night last night. It
Yep.
must have been before 4:30 and whenever I woke up. But we had like substantial amount of rainfall in a short amount of time. Before we came here, my sister and I went and had sushi, and as we were pulling into the sushi place up by Polaris, which is a rather large mall, plenty of infrastructure. There was water laying across one of the like main entryways. Kara, we're driving separate. She's in front of me, I'm behind her, and she like stops and like leans out her window. She's like, "Do you think I can make it?" And I like look and I assess. Like I could definitely make it in the van, but she's in like a little Kia. So I like look at where the water is in relation to the curb next to it, because it was just like a 4-inch curb, and I'm like, yeah, you can make it. So I'm like, yeah, just go fast. So she like guns it and goes fast, and you know how it like makes a wake and pushes the water out of the way so it doesn't come into your doors or anything. Not that it was high enough to do that, but I was like, yeah, you'll make it. But
Yeah.
Vandango just trolleyed through it.
So I used to have a Hyundai Accent that basically touched the ground. It was very low. And the trick is don't stop. As long as you keep pressure on your muffler, it'll blow bubbles.
So that's true, yes. But one time, this is maybe why Sarah was so leery. Our other sister, Brittany, she had a 94 Grand Prix, bright blue, nice system, hoopty of a car, nice system.
Runner.
That sucker bumped. Anyways, just driving through a small neighborhood. Small neighborhood had some standing water in one of the roads. She's like, "Psh, I know where the road is. I'll just truck straight through it." Before she knows it, she is floating. So she pulled the gun it trick and then ended up just floating like a boat
Further.
that lost power.
Yeah.
And then before she knew, she was like sliding back and then ended up in a yard.
Aw.
And then she's like, what do I do? She calls me. I was like, wait 4 hours. She's like, but how do I get it out of here? It's like, no, like wait 4 hours, let the water go down. And she did have to get it pulled because then it would never start again. Sucked water up into it. So that was the end of that. It was replaced by it was another Grand Prix, but the newer
Nice.
model, like the wide track Grand Prix.
Nice.
So she's-
GTXs
it wasn't a GTX, but
before the
it
GTX.
got her there. I got her there.
When I worked for the cleaners, my boss had a
2 times.
V8 GTX that was stupid fast, and we had a very good time with it. Yeah, you're making a mess.
I know. I was giving Kyle the I'm sorry look with my eyes.
Bye.
Okay, I haven't got-
Fair. It's just ashes. They'll go away on their own. It's the fire you have to worry about.
The fire, not the ashes.
Yeah, ashes are fine. It's when you drop
If
the
it's
fire.
just ash, it's cool. If it's a cinder, you're not.
That's probably gonna cause some problems.
I lost my place, guys.
What'd you do?
I don't know. I lose things.
Fun.
Let's see what other things did I bounce over here. I keep scrolling way too far. Ben, you got to get me under control. here.
Fun. Get under control. How'd you see Denny had a tribal thing up the other day?
Uh-uh.
Like, should we bring tribal back?
Well, that's pretty appropriate to what I'm about to show then.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. '90s tribal.
Do you think it's going to make a comeback the way the mullets have?
Isn't it already?
I really hope not. The pointless blackouts were enough.
I mean, I don't mind the blackouts, but
I
for
do.
me, I
I
see
do.
the blackout as a start of something that could be even cooler. I see
Um,
the blackout as a step to
like
the
I,
next thing.
I hear you, but I think it's gotten to the point where like it's getting ridiculous.
On the blackout?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In some cases, and not all, I feel it's a cop out.
Do you think we're gonna revert back to instead of like the ornamental, like decorative geometric stuff that's pretty popular right now? Do you think we're gonna revert back to this dark black, heavy, thick?
I hope not. I hope not.
So you're not a fan?
No. No.
I think there's. gonna be a lot
Tattooing's
of
just
people
come
getting this
so
kind of stuff.
far.
I think there's gonna be a lot of people getting this kind of stuff just because they think it's ironic.
Tattooing has come so far. Like, why? Why? That's like being a Formula One racer and being like, you know what? Let's go get mini Jeeps.
I mean, some might.
Bet you get bored with it real fast. Just saying, just seems like a revert in art that we just don't need.
Revert.
Just
You
go
know,
get
you know why
Byron.
nobody does cubism anymore? You know, we got sick of seeing.
It's fair.
Rein it in, Fawn.
What?
Rein it in.
What?
Nothing. It was felt like that's what I was supposed to say.
I'm messing up the screen share altogether.
It's okay.
Put the pressure on me, Ben.
Too much pressure.
Boom.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh,
Traditional
shit.
Filipino tattoos.
Oh, how's that?
It's okay. I can handle it.
Okay,
Finish? Wow.
Oh, that's cool as fuck.
Real
Now, if we're talking
professional.
tribal like this, I'm down.
Yeah,
Sign me
Well,
up.
because they got it like,
Your favorite tattoo?
Can I see your pins?
Yeah,
So
I'm
these
in.
are just like thorns from the tree.
Yeah, from the pomelo tree.
And this is charcoal?
Yeah, it's charcoal.
Oh,
I'd sign up for this.
How's that?
It's okay. I can handle it.
Okay,
Finish? Wow.
Here we are using
Real
autoclaves
professional.
and sterilization. They're just dropping dope shit in the middle of the jungle.
Hey, I mean, she's used a different form every time, I'd
Can I see
imagine.
your pins? So these are just
I'd
like
let that
thorns
happen.
from the tree.
Yeah.
If you
from
took
the
me
pomelo
somewhere in the
tree.
middle of the jungle and were like, bro, we getting tribal tattoos. We're at a tribe. That makes sense. What's the 90s tribal? What tribe you from?
90s.
Shittopia?
Well, Ben.
I just don't get it. Just gonna be honest.
One time there was this guy, I don't want to say his name, but
Ooh, can I say his name?
wait, I don't think you know him.
Oh, well, that
But if you knew it, you could say it, but I'm not saying something that's the most flattering. But I had already been tattooing several years. I was proficient. I was booked out 6 to 8 months. But this other tattooer and I had a mutual friend, and we'd hung out a few times, but I'd never like let the cat out of the bag that I was a tattooer, because he was a tattooer and he was very proud that he was a tattooer. And when he walked in the room, you knew within 45 seconds that he was not only a tattooer, but the best around. And he was the best at tribal and he could teach anybody how to do it. And I mean, he really, I guess the tribal stuff on him wasn't bad, but it was just like basic tribal, and then it was colored in between. So it looked nice, but he was like, I can teach you how to do this. He's, once he found out that I was a tattooer, the cat slipped out of the bag just a little bit. And then I was like, oh no.
Here we
Oh,
go.
no, it didn't even know. So he proceeds to start giving me lessons. And mind you, I've never been much of a drinker. So I'm on like Mountain Dew, Red Bull. And I don't think I even really smoked at the time. If I did, it wasn't heavy. So I was,
Soberish.
yeah, like I was always the one keeping an eye on the situation in
Right,
case somebody
right.
needed to go to the emergency room or, any of the things.
The
that can
mom
happen.
of the group.
Yeah, definitely. Without being like the oldest one of the group, I was definitely like the mother hen of the group. But anyways, after he gives me like these lessons on like these things that I can do to like do my tribal better and how to draw it and how to come up with designs and stuff. Well, he flipped through some of the pictures on my camera because I actually like carried my point and shoot with me.
Right.
He was like, what kind of stuff have you been doing? I was like, I mean, I stay busy. Like,
I mean, not tribal, but
I was trying to like dance around it because, like I said, he was very proud. He was very proud of how good he was and all the things he had to offer. So he's telling me this, and then he scrolls back and he sees, I did it again. He sees, I don't even remember what the tattoo that I did previously was, but he sees that and he was like, oh.
oh,
And this is after not only like an entire night of him boasting, this was like probably like the 8th or 9th time that I'd been around this guy that he had boasted that he was all of these things.
the best.
Yeah. Well, it was just an awkward moment because he knew he had boasted so much to me about all the things that he could do and all the things he wanted to teach me without even like taking any interest to ask me what I had done or where I was working or any of the things like that. He was just, he could teach me what he knew. And it's like,
Well, obviously he knew more. He'd been doing it longer.
he sure did. Yes, he did. Like I said, at that point, like I'm not going to say I had a name for myself like I have now, but like in our small community, I was getting there. So
Right.
it was almost like a joke on him because everybody knew, like the whole group knew as he's boasting, giving me in front of groups of people, telling us all how good he is and showing off what he did. And,
And they're just biting their tongue.
everybody did. Everybody danced around it.
It's like they knew.
I don't know.
That's funny.
But he was definitely, hopefully he's gotten his life together a little bit, but definitely one of those artists that like, oh yeah, I can tell that either this person or this person did that. Oh, you're paid for your sleep in one night too, huh? So you could see how.
Do
those-
you dance? No.
Dance, magic dance.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's exactly. what I
Yeah,
meant.
yeah. Yeah, but back to it. When we say tribal stuff, that's the silly things that I think of. It's like lack of imagination,
Lower
and you
back
just want to
tattoos.
get tattooed. Like you want a mark on you, and that's fine. Like,
That's why
get a mark.
kanji exists.
yeah, get a mark. That's fine. But
Yeah.
there are so many possibilities. Why stop with a weird black mark that doesn't mean anything? Like, yeah, it signifies a time in your life and all those other deep, meaningful things.
Yeah.
But like if you're gonna go through the time and money and pain of getting tattooed, don't you want to like?
Well, let's be honest. Tribal tattoos were like $50. The price point for tattooing has changed drastically over the years.
That's true. That's true.
So to go in and get a tribal for the $50 that it max was gonna be, no matter what size you got it or where it was gonna be, it wasn't that big of a financial commitment then.
That's true.
It's
That's
not
true.
taking a paycheck or two to get through your session. Whereas then it was kind of like more on a whim.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not gonna knock like on a whim tattoos, but
Some of
don't
my
know.
least cool tattoos were done on a whim.
I guess in a nutshell, I'm just not ready for tribal to make a comeback.
Yeah, same. 100% same.
Like 1994 called and said it's okay. They're just gonna keep it.
Tribal and splat mats, they can just stay away.
You know what? I can't even get into that conversation.
What? You already started it. You can't back out now.
Well, I was just gonna make the observation aloud. You said splat mat. And
No,
like,
I didn't even
just
think
gonna-
about it.
I was just gonna make the observation aloud. Like that's the cruder terminology for a tramp stamp, in my opinion. But
You
here's my-
called it a tramp stamp. You're half a step away.
Yeah, here's the observation though. Isn't it funny the way that the tramp stamp always exists? It just
Mhm.
moves
It
location
morphs.
with generation.
Yep, absolutely. It's on the neck now.
It's on the neck now?
Yeah,
It's not the
it's generally-
underboob anymore?
Oh, it shifted.
Did it shift already? I
Well,
missed it?
Yeah, you did.
Okay,
You did. It's
okay.
the neck now. And it's generally your like ex-lover's name in poorly designed script,
Poorly designed.
sans serifs, if you will.
Nice.
Um,
Hey, this was freehand. I
I
can
can
tell.
tell.
Did they take third grade cursive? No?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
But you're right. It did shift to the underboob there for a while because,
Is that a
tattoos like
or a
boobs.
J or a T?
Yes.
Okay.
So your nipple dots it. I got it.
Mm,
Hmm.
We got some events and stuff that he's been sharing.
Uh-oh. I don't know if all these are safe for work.
They better be. Here we go.
We're running it live.
Yeah. I think Woody's safe.
Yeah, this is hilarious.
Oh no, where's our sound? Again. I lost my cursor.
What the hell, Fawn?
I feel like I should just let it keep playing now so we can catch it on the start over.
Yeah, I agree. But it's not playing because it's off the screen. So it's doing that weird like.
Half thing.
You're down. You're stoked I'm down? I'm stoked you're down. Bro, high five. We should get high five tattoos. Yeah, we should.
Oh,
And I
this
know
is
the
matching
perfect guy
tattoos.
for it. Tattoo shop, this Woody. Hey Woody, my friend and I want to get matching tattoos. Oh, nice. What are you guys looking to get? We want to get a high five tattoo. A high five?
Say less, son.
Woody? Woody, hello? I love it. Give me 2 seconds. Sweet. Dude, we should get matching tattoos. Dude, that's a great idea. What would we get? I don't
I
know.
love the way his videos
just
move
stoked that you're-
seamlessly every time too.
Yeah. That's a good one.
What else you got in here?
That's a good one. I don't
Bunny,
remember.
bunny.
I'm always half intoxicated when I'm sending you these.
How to be the perfect client. This
Oh,
is actually one of the things on my notes I wanted to talk about.
this is a good one.
Yes, okay, let me press the buttons.
We'll get
So,
all the buttons pressed
we're gonna
and
do it.
then
And then,
no hand that. What's my tattoo say? Dude, what's your tattoo say? Sweet. Excuse me, just a moment.
oops, that's not the right one. Go. Come back. Kyle, what'd I do? I minimized it by accident. Here we go. I'm gonna get this down one of these days. Come on. Select. Do the thing. Here we go. How to be the perfect client. I'm gonna try to hit play real quick on Zoom. All right, we'll start over again. How to be the perfect client. Be on time. Have your ID. Eat first. Don't drink the night before. And rest. And then it ends with, she got the tattoo, sat well, and then tipped. It's pretty crazy that like some of the things that make you like the ideal perfect tattoo client are things that like you should just do anyways.
Kind of common sense.
Yeah, like, you know, I used to get on the spiel all the time, like treat your body like you actually love it. You know what I mean? Like feed it well, like hydrate, back to hydrating. Feed it well, hydrate, rest. Like before you get tattooed and then after you get tattooed, like stick with the process. Like treat your body like you actually love it and you'll be able to receive the tattoo easier. It won't be as traumatic on your body. And then you'll heal more quickly. So it's like a double win. And then like for that matter, like why don't you just do that all the time? Like why don't you just treat your body like you love it just because?
Gotta have a healthy body to heal.
Yeah, like tattooing, even if it's a small tattoo, it really like zaps a lot out of you. So like just fueling your body appropriately makes the process easier for you. It makes it easier for your tattooer. It makes it easier for the recovery.
Having something for that adrenaline shock when it kicks in.
What do you do when you're preparing for your big sessions? I mean, and you've had a handful of big
Yeah.
sessions now. So what do you do, Kyle? What's your
I just try to like sleep, drink plenty of water, eat a big meal in the morning.
what's your preferred meal before tatty time?
I don't know if I have a preferred meal. I kind of just double up on whatever I would normally do.
Okay, that's not bad. I always try to like carbo load the night before if I can. If I could do either a pasta or a baked potato, but some of that like long lasting kind of energy. And then like even if you don't take a multivitamin, I recommend taking a multivitamin before getting tattooed and then while you're healing. Do you take vitamins
Yeah.
every day? Do you take them every day?
Yeah.
Or just tatty time?
Every day.
Good. Good for you, Kyle.
I try to be healthy.
Nice. I feel like I've smoked this all the way to the end, but there might be another hit or two left. So there've been a few tattoo shows going on lately. It's weird. Kyle, You don't carry conversation the same way Ben does.
I don't know. What? Please inform me on these tattoo shows, please.
Well, I was just gonna talk about, Lauren was in San Diego last weekend. So on the Tattoo Weekly, she'll probably have a recap of what was going on in San Diego. I haven't been to any shows recently, so I don't have any recaps personally, but I smoked all of that.
That's fine. Put it up. It's
Okay.
okay.
All right,
We've done our due diligence for
Yeah.
the evening.
she's out. He's out. How was the good night chat?
Always wonderful.
Always wonderful.
We had to scale back bedtimes because school is a
Well,
thing now. First day of little baby's kindergarten was Wednesday.
did you get moisty eyed?
Yeah, I did. I may have cried a
Oh.
bunch,
Moisty eyed.
a bunch.
It's okay.
Yeah, she's just so big. A little baby.
You grow up so fast.
They do.
It's like, it seems slow in the moment, but when you look and see like how quickly the time has passed and how she's gone from like a little being to like a
Ye-
human.
It's dumb. It's real dumb. Yep. She walked in the door and was like, bye, and, like ran away. I was like, I guess you're ready. I guess you were ready. I wasn't ready. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
That was fine.
I guess. But her mom is headed out of town for the weekend until Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So we've got a weekend of activities.
Nice. Are you guys gonna go do some camping?
I don't have the time this time, but I think we're gonna go up and go hike and stuff. So we'll at least do some outside stuff.
Nice.
Tis our backup plan for life. You know?
Good. I said, we went up to High Banks earlier today and that was actually like a wonderful little stroll. You know, there are little paths, like little hikeable, strollable paths that are off the paved paths, but
Right.
you know, it was nice, shaded,
Uh,
not like uncomfortably hot to be just strolling around.
I had LB last week and I woke her up and I was like, well, what do you want to do today? This is our last day before school of me and you hanging out. And we went, she was like, well, I want to go to a campsite. And I was like, we can't camp, baby. She's like, no, I just want to go to a campsite. It's like, okay. So she's like, then I want to go hiking. And then I want to go to the beach. And then I want to do a playground and I want to eat at a restaurant.
Is there a place that you could do all of those in one
Yeah,
trip?
it's called Burr Oak State Park.
Nice.
We hiked to a campsite.
One event.
Oh, no, she wanted to go to a creek. That was on the list as well. Go to a creek. So the hiking path that I chose went through a creek that led us to a campsite. Then we went and ate at the lodge restaurant, then went to the beach and played at the playground at the camp, the lodge. It was like everything was seamless. We did all of the things on her adventure list before like 4 o'clock. And I was fucking pumped to be done with it all and drove the fuck home.
That's a super good idea. Have her make the adventure list. It's awesome that they were all like things to do together, not like, you know, a lot of kids buy me this, take me here,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's other things.
Well,
It's
that's
pretty
our
cool that like
that's
it's
our
her-
fun time. That's
Yeah.
what we do for kicks. So like that's fun to her. So
It's awesome that that's her like natural inclination is to like just want to do those things. You know, it starts because it is things that you enjoy, but it's things that you have enjoyed together.
right.
Sometimes this is just my fidget and what to do with
Yeah.
my fingers.
I know. But like it was cool because instead of taking all day to get an activity done, we just kind of binged through things. So it was easy to just kind of be like, we only have an hour here instead of like if we went to just go to the beach, you would feel like the whole day was dedicated to it. And like, you know what I mean? It made it easy to do something for a minute and move on to the next without it being
Knowing that there was something else happening next.
right. It didn't, it made it not drag.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
Nice.
been fun.
What do you guys, do you have anything on tap for this weekend?
I gotta work a bunch, but other than that, no, hanging out with her, probably fixing an air conditioner.
fixing that AC unit.
We're excited about that. But
It won't be so crazy.
I hope not. It shouldn't be too bad. Shouldn't be too bad. There's not much I can't fix if I can see the part that's broke. You know what I mean? Like,
It really is the funniest thing. Again, I was just sitting like scrolling and I was on Facebook, probably like looking at Facebook Marketplace or something, is what I do. Anyways, I saw your post about your AC being down and then I couldn't help but read the comments and like all the recommendations were for somebody that was like 3 hours away.
yeah,
Like,
like
how,
an hour and a half. Yeah.
I'm not gonna call so-and-so 6 counties over.
Right.
Like,
I was really just hoping I had a homie that ran an HVAC company that had an extra unit sitting out back. I could get on the low and but it'll all work itself out.
it'll work itself out.
I just didn't need a $8,000 expense out of nowhere yesterday, but it's cool. We'll figure it out.
You know? It's okay.
Yep.
You wanna know what I'm dealing with?
Sure.
As a major discomfort. I have a sliver in the very tip of my elbow and I can't get it out. So like when I rest my elbow on anything, it hurts
Are
excruciatingly.
you saying we need to do tableside surgery? Fine, I'm real good.
I don't specifically remember where I was or what I was doing, but you know how like, you're going through your day, you make multiple stops, do multiple things. Anyways, at some point, I specifically remember like leaning on 1-inch aluminum tubing that somebody had made like a rack out of. I remember leaning on it and I got 2 little slivers here and I remember it feeling like it scraped my elbow. I pulled the 2 little like burrs out, no problem. And
Not
long
out the
story
elbow.
short, right in the tippy toe of my elbow
So-
too.
So
Like
we
when
should
I'm
do surgery.
driving and I rest my elbow, it hurts. When I sit here and try to get comfortable, it hurts.
Do you want me
It's
to,
the weirdest little
do you want me to
distraction.
cut your elbow?
I tried to get it out with a needle already and
What about a really high powered magnet and a needle?
it's aluminum.
What about a microscope? And some tweezers?
See, I tried like breaking the skin around it and popping it out with tweezers and I couldn't get it to work. I think what I need to do at this point is just let it encapsulate for a few more days,
Give it the old
give it the squeeze.
plus slide.
Yeah, I don't want to get into detail about that, but it's teeny tiny. Like at first I thought maybe it was a hair splinter and then I was retracing my steps and I was like, no, I leaned against that rail and I specifically remember the 2 burrs here and the cut feeling, but not realizing there was anything there.
So we need to go back with some sandpaper.
Can't remember where I was or what I was doing.
That's
Honestly, it might have been like at the hospital or something. My little sister, okay. Sometimes smart people do dumb things. Little sister is highly intelligent, but she did a real dumb thing. She dove in a shallow pool. You know what they put on shallow pools? No diving sign. So she dove in a shallow pool. The shallow pool, it's above ground pool, but it was set up on a concrete patio between garages. So she like 3-foot dives into a pool on concrete and she mangled herself a little bit, broke her nose, had to get some stuff done to her teeth, all the things. Anyways, since she's been coming and going from Columbus, I've been tagging along to a lot of her doctor's appointments. And I feel like it was at one of her appointments that I just like leaned on something while I was waiting and it got me.
The only time I have done a live water rescue was during a swim meet when somebody tried to dive over the person touching the wall. So they were trying to get like extra. So you're allowed to leave the wall as long as you don't hit the water before the person hits the wall, right? So this person is jumping while this person is reaching for the wall.
Yes.
So they missed their arch to
Like
go over the
It's like
person.
the timing of handing of the baton.
It is exactly like that. But they missed the timing and the person was coming up. So they like did a funky, like in the air body maneuver, trying not to smack the other person and arced down, smacked their face on the bottom of the 4-foot pool. And nobody saw it. Like nobody saw it. The people on their team didn't see it, nothing. And all it was of red came up. I jumped from the side and went in and like it was the middle of a relay. So people were pissed and I
pulled this kid out. I was a kid myself, but like pulled this kid out and started swimming like side stroke, and he's just bleeding down me.
And you
Un-
know, when you have like the littlest cut in water, a little
Unconscious,
nosebleed, it is everywhere. So a
unconscious,
serious one.
just nose, just. So I just carried this kid to the side and like flopped him up and pushed him on his side. By that time, the adults took over the situation.
It's one
But
of those things like there is if you know what you're doing, I don't want to like encourage this in any way, but like if you know what you're doing, like what you said, this was like a freak accident and a glitch
Yeah,
in their
yeah.
timing because he's diving out and forward. He's
Right.
not trying
So
to go deep. He's
in-
trying to jump as far as he can
In
and then tread the
racing,
water.
diving in shallow water is very common.
Mhm.
Most Olympic pools aren't 5 feet deep.
But you've got so much trajectory
you're
forward.
jumping
It's not the same as like a
not
standing
down.
dive where you're
Right.
head first.
The
and-
point is to barely not belly flop.
Mhm.
Whereas a dive is to go in head first. So like I got yelled at the gym the other day because I did a start block start
Mhm.
and dove off the side of the pool. And one of the guys from the front desk came out and was like, "Rah, rah, rah, you can't dive. Can you read the sign?" I was like, "That's not a dive."
Like I'm swimming laps.
He's like, "That is diving. You went in head first." And I'm like, "You're obviously a moron, but I hear you. But like, this is a lap pool." But you know, I didn't want to argue with somebody that picks up heavy things for a living.
In my high school, we had a full-size Olympic swimming pool. So like it was 13 feet deep. It was big, but like even on the shallow side, like it's 4 feet.
Yeah, you dove from the shallow side,
Yeah. I mean,
dove out.
but even then, like when you jump off of those blocks, you
Going
project
out.
so far
Right.
where like it may be 4 feet deep for 10 feet, but you're not touching the water until you're 15 feet out. Like
Right.
I might be exaggerating on those
No,
numbers.
no,
but,
I'm,
like,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm like,
it's 6 feet by the
it's-
time you touch
it's
the water.
not a dive.
You're propelling.
You're jumping in the water. Flat.
This is reminding me of What About Bob? Just teaching Siggy how to dive,
Right.
drops him.
I don't know. And it was really hard to explain to somebody that had never swam a lap in their life. Like, no, I hear you. I'm not sitting here doing fucking, off the edge, off the guard chair, head first into the. I'm trying to swim laps here, bro. Like, I'm the only one out here. Clearly, I'm alive after it happened. And it wasn't like I was getting out and restarting, You know what I mean? Like I dove in to start swimming laps.
Mhm.
I jumped in. If I'm gonna stick to my technically. Yeah. But they have for any reason at any time, they can revoke your membership rule. So like anybody that works there, any moment can just be like, delete. Sorry, you just paid $380 to come swim here. But
You know what's crazy? I went to a Y recently with a friend and
$60.
I went like on their guest pass. And like I expected them to ask like maybe my name and phone number and sign a waiver. I had to I feel like I filled out job applications that asked me less things than like usually I'm pretty good at going with the flow. But by the time it was on like the 6th screen, I was like, are you messing with me? Like this is just for like a 1 day thing. Like, I'm not saying I won't ever come back again, but like, this is just like, we're going to supervise children for an hour. We're not even going to be on any gym equipment. Like you emergency contact. Okay.
That's always a
All right.
weird one for me. They're like, who's your emergency contact? And I'm like, obviously I put Leah, my significant other, but like before that, like I don't want you calling my ex-wife, my parents, who I talk to twice a year, live in another state. Who do you put down for that?
And once you're an adult, why do you need one?
Like my emergency contact is take me to the fucking hospital. Why we gotta call people?
Yeah.
Call the fucking squad. My emergency contact is 911.
How bad,
Like-
do you think that would ruffle feathers if you put that?
I'm gonna start. I've never thought of it until this very fucking moment, but that's what I'm putting down as my emergency contact from now on.
Like the safety director of your city,
That's funny.
and not the emergency hotline, but the actual line for
But-
like the public safety or whatever.
Here's the gig. Like, okay, so most of the people around me can't do anything about it. I'm in a car accident. There's only a couple people that could like get me the things I need to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna stop your day to come. Like, I'll figure it out. Uber's a thing. Like, take me to the hospital. Like, let's just. Why do we gotta involve other people in this transaction?
It's just,
All you're gonna do is freak them out and make them worried.
yeah.
Let
it's
me
just-
do that.
It's just,
I don't understand it.
there's just an awful lot of questions. And I mean, I get it. There's kids there. I understand why you
Right.
want to know like who's who, but like.
My
can you
blood
just,
type
like,
and my mom's maiden name, unnecessary.
You have my driver's license, just like Xerox that, and you got everything you need to know about me. Like
Nope,
what,
not enough.
and you've got my email,
What's
and
your
you've
blood
got my
type?
phone number, like. Be positive.
Well, I try to, but sometimes life will just get you down.
So weird. It is funny when you go to like an organization, like, let's say a YMCA, for instance, like. That's a like. Charitable organization?
Well, not even that. Do you know why we have YMCA's? YMCA's are like the original halfway house. Okay. They were a place for people that were in a less than savory position to go and find a place to stay, not just work out, not just
Yeah,
take a
'cause there used to
shower.
be, like,
not ju-
shelters as well.
They had rooms in the back. They had a hostel, for lack of a better term. YMCA's were a troubled youth center, a vagabond, like people that used to travel by foot would stay at YMCA. I'm not trying to call them bums, because that's not what I mean. But people would literally travel the country and just stay at YMCA's. So like now they're a health spa that your kids can go to. Whereas it used to be a hostel with, like, they'd help you find a job. They'd help you clean your act up and all that.
Witness to you.
Well, sometimes, depending on, we are from the Bible Belt, so that does happen.
I don't know.
It's funny how things have changed. You used to be able to walk in there with a $5 bill and a smile and get a room, a shower, a meal, a hot cup of coffee in the morning. And now it's like, it's $168 a month. I need all your personal information, all your family's personal information, and maybe we'll let you in. Maybe, if you're lucky.
I remember when I was a kid and we'd go to the pool, it was like $5 a day. We'd put our name down, our phone number, and it was $5 a day.
See, the only reason I was in competitive swimming is because the city pools were 50 cents a day. And my parents could drop us off at the pool.
It might have even been 3.
I remember the turnstile, it was 2 quarters. I remember when it jumped from 1 quarter to 2, and there was outrage in the community. But my mom would take us to swim, or not lessons, but swim team practice first. And then there was 2 rounds of swim lessons after that. And then it was open swim. So we would go to the free swim team. We would go to 2 free rounds of swim lessons. And then we would go to open swim, and we had CPR, certified, lifeguard, first aid, babysitters for 50 cents. It cost them $1 a day for childcare.
Yeah, I think ours was.
It
from,
cost
like,
me
noon until
$30 a
5.
day for 4 hours. And I've got a cheap childcare. You know what I mean? Like, I've got the hookup.
Well,
Things be changing.
it's true. It's true. Well,
Didn't I tell you I was done?
but didn't I tell you, it's just like a fidget.
I
need to
know,
Do
and-
something with my hands.
And if you hand it to me, I'm going to hit it. It's just the way the world works. just the way the world works. I can't help it. It's not my fault. It's ingrained in me. You ever sit with a non-smoker? And you try to hand them the thing like 14 times and eventually they just give in? Guess I smoke now.
I try to tell people when I keep like accidentally passing it to the non-smoker, like, I'm sorry, I keep trying to hand it to you. If you just want to pass it to the next person, it'll avoid confusion in the rotation.
That'd be great.
My
just-
friend Siobhan calls it the pivot. She's like,
The
oh,
pivot.
I'll always
I'll
pivot.
pivot. I meant more of when you're hanging out with one person.
You're gonna hit that, Kyle, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna vacuum the stage when we're done because I feel like I have dropped every ash all over me or the floor.
I don't think you've
I'm
asked
vacuuming
in
tomorrow.
a
It's fine.
thing yet, to be honest. with
I
you.
did a few times, but it's one of those like, oh, we'll ash it on the next pass and then down it goes.
Nope. Gotcha.
Got him.
So what are you thinking about for next week? We got big plans? We got things going on?
Nothing in particular. I feel like we're definitely due to have Chris Taylor on again. I'd love to reach out to the ink shrink and have him on again. He has recently gotten tattooed by BJ Betts. He's got some cool little lettering on his finger. So we're like,
Nice.
he's talking about like being finished. He's finding real estate to keep getting tattooed. You know, I feel like his collection is to a point where he's probably not going to be doing a ton of reworking for a while or freshening things up
He
for a while.
got
but
all of his
it's been-
tattoos in what, 6 years or something? No, he's been collecting for a while. I'm confusing people, but all of his
Yeah,
stuff is
he's-
newer.
Yeah,
Like,
he's collected fast.
right.
I saw a picture of Tyrion. I don't know if she even has an Instagram or is active, but man, her bodysuit is looking amazing.
I
She's
saw that as
collected.
well.
Was that on Jason Boat's
Yes.
page? Let's see if we can find it.
Yeah, she's got a killer collection.
Maybe you can pull him up and screen share faster than I can. I got a lot of windows.
Maybe.
I don't computer, Ben.
Yeah, I've got it here.
You got it already? See? I couldn't even get the right search box to come up. Look,
Oh, geez.
Dan Hazelton did her belly. Guy did her chest and neck. Ty
Geez.
McEwen did
Yeah.
one arm.
She's got a ton of,
Carson Hill did the other. Derb started reworking one of the bio pieces on her leg. And that's
insane.
grown into some huge other bio. And then I believe her other leg, she's doing like cover up rework stuff. But she's gone really hard in the paint. Hats off to Tyrion.
yeah, that's nuts.
Like I collected fast and heavy there for a while, but she definitely passed me with a quickness. I feel like
Yeah, I
she's
feel like
been-
every big convention, she's get like a whole nother layer done.
Yeah, I feel like most of the conventions we've been to, she's getting tattooed by one of the Midwest bio guys.
The bio boys.
Her armpits are still open.
You gonna try to get in her pitties?
I'd get in her pitties for sure.
Probably be a good addition to the team.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's really been going hard though.
Nice.
I love how her bodysuit is coming together. It's incredibly cohesive. So, I'll get some cool stuff lined up for us for next week.
I'm still waiting for my schedule for next week, but I have put in the request for it to remain the same. So hopefully there shouldn't be too much more
Nice.
missing.
Well, we're approaching 8 o'clock.
That's enough.
We've been talking and talking. We've been catching up. Been welcoming Ben back to the show. Just got done celebrating Maddie's birthday together. We talked about tribal tatties.
It's been a good show.
Not a lot of senseless rabbit holes. Senseless, but not too many of them.
Not too many.
Yeah.
We've been pretty tattoo cohesive.
Kyle,
Yeah.
you been doing anything cool this past week, apprenticeship wise?
Tattooing skins, fake skins right now.
Have you done a pig's feet yet?
No, I assume we're doing that when he comes back from Vegas, Europe.
Nice. Nice.
Euro
need more.
Vegas.
Mhm.
If you need more pig's feet, I'll get some for you from the hood store down the road from my house.
Okay.
Do you know how cheap not pickled, but do you know how cheap pig's feet are?
Very.
There were like 3 big ones and they were like $2.57.
Yeah.
Like that's less than $1 a foot, Kyle.
That's
Could you
cheaper than new
imagine?
skin.
Dollar a foot,
Less
less.
than
Pennies.
$1 a foot. Yeah, there were either 3 or 4 in the pack, and I swear they were $2.57 because I remember thinking to myself, like, not even $3.
Should we do another tattoo day on show and do some pig's feet?
We could do some pig's feet on the show. I'm down with that.
That'd be a fun day.
We gotta let Kyle do it first with his apprenticeship before we make a pig's ear of the situation. Thanks. All right, guys. Well,
Good work, Fawn.
well, if we don't have anything else pressing, we'll
See you next week.
give you back your ear holes and talk to you next week. Thanks for joining us. Have fun.